Hi there. It has recently come to my attention that Shannon and I have been breaking the law. Apparently, we have been conducting illegal activities on federal lands. There have been a lot of YouTubers covering this issue, and they have done a very good job, so I'm not going to repeat what they said. But I have linked to a few of them below, and I urge you to check these out, especially the first one, RV Miles. Jason, I think, has done an excellent job describing this issue. I also really like what Chris from Chris and Sara said. I think he has some really important insights. And finally, Kara and Nate as well. They share a tragic, scary story about their experience. So check those out because they really explain what's going on. So what illegal activity have Shannon and I been conducting? We have been recording video on our iPhones in a national park and posting it to our YouTube channel. And as crazy as that sounds, that is illegal. And here's why. In 2000, a law was passed requiring all federal land agencies to issue permits and collect fees for filming permits for commercial filming. The National Park Service website has a page on it called Filming and Still Photography Permits. And I have linked this below as well. And that page describes some of the situations where filming permits are needed and others where it's not. And if you scroll down that page a little bit, there are some tabs you can click on for more information. First up, when is a permit needed for commercial filming? Under federal law, all commercial filming that occurs within a unit of the National Park System requires a permit. And by the way, the federal law that this is referring to, it covers not only the National Park System, but all federal lands, the U.S. Forest Service, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management, the Department of Fish and Wildlife, and all of the national monuments. So what is considered commercial filming? Commercial filming means the film, electronic, magnetic, digital, or other recording of a moving image by a person, business, or other entity for a market audience with the intent of generating income. And then it goes on to give some examples. And of course, if there's a big Hollywood movie production crew with sets and props and lights and actors and directors and extras, and of course they're going to be disrupting the national park, and it makes perfect sense that something on that scale should require a permit. So how does this affect Shannon and me? The third tab says, does commercial filming by individuals or small groups require a permit? And when you click on that one, it says, federal law requires a permit for all commercial filming, no matter the size of the crew or the type of equipment. This includes individuals or small groups that don't use much equipment, but generate revenue by posting footage on websites such as YouTube and TikTok. So you may be inclined to say, well, they won't bother you because if you keep reading, it says the primary focus of the NPS, however, is on commercial filming that has the potential to impact park resources and visitors beyond what occurs from normal visitor use of park areas. Kind of the scenario I just gave a minute ago about a huge Hollywood production crew. Surely they won't come after Shannon and me, right? Well, tell that to Kara and Nate. Kara and Nate are YouTubers with a very successful channel. They have over 3.5 million subscribers, and just a few years ago they were fined $1,000 for filming video in Yellowstone National Park for their YouTube channel. That video is linked below. Check them out. That's the tragic story I was talking about earlier. So how is this a gray area? Well, in my research, I see a lot of people saying that this law is not really clear on specifying who is generating income that it's concerned about. They argue that even if you are not monetized on YouTube, YouTube is still making money. And the same thing is true with Facebook, with Instagram, with TikTok, with Twitter. Even if the user is not making money, those social media platforms are making profits. But let's continue reading. The fifth tab says, when is a permit needed for still photography? And here is the kicker. In most cases, still photography does not require a permit. A permit is required for still photography only when the activity takes place in an area closed to the public, or the activity uses a model, set, or a prop, or the National Park Service would incur additional administrative costs to monitor the activity. That all makes perfect sense. And basically, what that is saying is that if I'm in a national park and I have my phone or a camera or whatever, I can do this. I can take still photos. And then I can print those photos and I can sell them as gallery wraps in my art gallery, and I can make lots and lots of money off of them, and that is all perfectly legal. But if I do this with my camera or my phone and I upload that to my monetized YouTube channel, I'm breaking a federal law. And now I'm really going to stir things up. I came across a page on the National Park Service website called Your Park Story. Right now, it's the summer of 2023, and the National Park Service has a big promotion going called Your Park Story. They are asking you to make a summer splash by sharing your park story and by following in the conversation on their social media channels. They are telling you to use hashtags, Your Park Story, My Park Story. And they are telling you to share your story on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Social media. So is the National Park Service asking you to share your story in text only? Because according to federal law, shooting video without a permit for generating income is illegal. And like I said earlier, all social media is making a profit. They're generating income. And the answer is no. They are not asking you to share your story in text only. In fact, if you keep reading down the page a little further, you will see, don't forget to include any photos, videos, or other content related to your story that you would like to share. For Shannon and me, our go-to on social media is YouTube. We dabble a little bit with Instagram and Facebook, but for the most part, YouTube is what we are focused on. We are monetized, and we are actively trying to grow our channel and increase our income. So imagine this. 1, we come across this Your Park Story page on the Park Service website. 2, imagine we don't know anything about this filming permit law that we've been talking about here. And 3, we see an opportunity to share our story on our video channel using a hashtag that has the potential to reach a huge audience, growing our channel. Of course, we're going to jump on that. There is no mention on this page that if I'm making a video with intent to generate income, that I will need a permit. And let me just say, I realize the National Park System did not come up with this crazy law. They're just unfortunately stuck in the middle, and now they have to deal with it. And all in all, I think the Your Park Story promotion is a good thing for the national parks. I think it's good for them to generate interest in and awareness of national parks. And based on current park funding, I think it makes perfect sense for them to ask people to volunteer to share their story on social media. It's a win-win. And when Shannon and I have been visiting national parks and shooting video and sharing it on our social media, that is exactly what we have been doing. We have been helping to generate interest in and awareness of our national parks. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. I am not trying to stir up controversy here. I'm not trying to throw mud at the national parks. I love the national parks. They are preserving for all of us and for future generations beautiful lands in this great country of ours, and they're allowing us to go visit and learn and experience these wonderful places. I think that's a good thing. What I am trying to stir up is awareness of this crazy, stupid law. And I have a ray of sunshine to share with you as well. Right now, there's a new bill working its way through the Senate. It's called the American Outdoor Recreation Act. Along with a bunch of other things related to outdoor recreation, one of its provisions rewrites the filming and still photography rule in the current law. If passed, this new law will fix that crazy, confusing, and I think unfair law with something that makes sense and doesn't base the need for permitting on whether a person is making profit or not. So I'm urging you, please contact your lawmakers. Tell them you support America's Outdoor Recreation Act. And I'm sharing a very easy way for you to do that. In the description below this video, there's a link to Outdoor Alliance. They have a webpage talking about this bill and with a form that you can fill out to very easily send a message to all of your lawmakers. Please check them out. Look at Outdoor Alliance in the link below and tell your lawmakers that you support this new law. And finally, one last thing. As I said, there are a lot of YouTubers who have been covering this crazy thing, but one of them seems to have found a way around it. Travels with Rob has a video showing where he applied for a number of park filming permits, and he discusses the results that he got. Rob shares what he put on his applications, what his intended activities were, and that he included the words, "The requested use is an exercise of a First Amendment right, and therefore no fee is included." Now, I didn't mention this earlier, but the parks require a non-refundable application fee when you apply for a permit, unless the intended use is an exercise of a First Amendment right. And this fee varies anywhere from $150 all the way up to $350. Rob says that the response he got from 7 national parks says that based on his intended use, filming for a YouTube channel, a permit was not required. So Rob has in his possession letters from 7 national parks telling him that he does not need to acquire a permit for filming in national parks for his YouTube channel. Check him out. I'm linking that below as well. Now, on one hand, I think this is totally awesome. When I first saw this, I thought, hallelujah, and I almost didn't even go through with creating this video that you're watching. But on the other hand, I tried doing what Rob did, and my results were very different. I've been going back and forth with a national park that I want to visit via email, and what they have told me is that I will not need to pay a location fee, but a $250 application fee is required. So more gray area. And regarding that, I really like what Jason said. RV Miles, the first video linked below. Jason said, 2 federal judges have said this law is unconstitutional, and 2 federal judges have said it is constitutional. I don't think it's written in black and white. It's a lot of shades of gray. And I have to agree with Jason 100%. Parks that Rob contacted think that it's an exercise of his First Amendment right, but the park that I contacted doesn't. Apparently, it's up to the individual parks to decide whether we need a permit or not. That is not black and white. Now, Rob, if you're watching this, more power to you. I'm so happy that you found a way around this crazy law. But even with your good fortune, I think this law needs to change. We should not need to carry papers around with us to show that we do not need to be carrying papers, a permit. You're going to be carrying those papers around with you showing that you don't need a permit. It's just ridiculous. And what's more, your success with that only works for national parks. What about the Bureau of Land Management, U.S. forest lands, national monuments? So Shannon and I will be filming next time we go to a national park. We just won't be filming with intent of generating income on YouTube. So please leave a comment below. I want to know what you think about this. Did I go way out on a limb with the national park encouraging this? What are your thoughts? And more importantly, please click the link below to send a message to your lawmakers. Tell them you support the American Outdoor Recreation Act. Let's make this stupid permit law a dark moment in history so that we can be filming again in national parks. Thanks so much. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.